Hey, hold it right there. You look a little lost. Where are you heading?
Oh, just unlocking my office, officer. I have a class starting in 10 minutes.
Your office in the graduate physics wing?
Huh?
Okay, sure.
Yes, it's right here, room 302.
I'm going to need to see some actual identification. You can't just walk
I have
in
my
here.
faculty card right.
Dr. Harold Mitchell wasn't just a teacher. He was the tenured department chair with 20 years of service. He had written countless published papers. He even had a literal namesake on the university's research wing. And 36 of his loyal graduate students were standing right down the hall. They were capturing every single second of it on video. Before I continue, let me ask you, have you ever been treated unfairly by someone in power? Drop your answer in the comments. But Officer Romano had no idea who he was screaming at. His name was Dr. Harold Mitchell. He was the chair of the physics department at Riverside University. To the students, he was a legend. To the administration, he was an asset. The professor had 20 years of tenure. He held a PhD from MIT. He was the lead researcher on the huge cyclotron project. Here is the irony. Dr. Mitchell was actually the person who wrote the grant for the building security. The money that paid for the locks and the cameras came from his work. He literally paid for the security upgrades Romano was patrolling. But Dr. Mitchell was not a loud man. He was known as a quiet mentor. He focused on his students. He rarely pulled rank or acted important. He was a man of science, not a man of ego. On this Tuesday morning, the professor was just trying to do his job. He was trying to unlock his door to teach thermodynamics. He had no criminal record. He had no bad history. He was just a teacher going to work. But none of that mattered to the man standing in his way. Officer Jack Romano had a reputation on this campus. He was a 5-year veteran of the campus police, but he didn't act like a school resource officer. He acted like he was in an action movie. The students had a nickname for him. They called him the Cowboy. This wasn't his first time causing trouble. Romano had 12 formal complaints in just 18 months. That is a huge number, and there was a clear pattern. Every single complaint involved minority students or faculty. Let's look at the history. Incident 1 happened last semester. Romano detained a black biology student. She was moving lab equipment to her car. He accused her of stealing. She was just doing her homework. Incident 2 was even worse. He harassed a visiting lecturer from Mexico in the parking lot. He demanded to see a passport. The lecturer was a guest of the dean. Incident 3 was petty. Romano would frequently park his cruiser in fire lanes. He said he needed to observe foot traffic. He thought the rules didn't apply to him. The custodial staff called him the sheriff behind his back. They knew to stay out of his way. The university administration knew about these problems. They had the reports, but until today, they had ignored every warning. They let him keep his badge. They let him keep patrolling. Type bad cop in the comments if you know someone who abuses their power like this. It was Tuesday, October 14th. The time was 8:50 a.m. The location was the science quad on the 3rd floor. This was the graduate physics wing. The atmosphere was quiet. The hallway was mostly empty. It smelled like fresh floor wax and old books. The only sound was the hum of the ventilation system. Dr. Mitchell walked down the hall. He was carrying a brown leather briefcase and a travel mug of coffee. He was dressed in a tweed jacket. He looked like exactly what he was, a professor. Officer Romano was patrolling the corridor. He was walking slowly, looking for trouble. Romano saw Dr. Mitchell approaching the keypad door. The professor reached into his pocket for his keys. Romano stepped in. He moved his body directly in front of the keypad. He blocked the access completely. Dr. Mitchell paused. He smiled politely. He thought maybe the officer was lost or needed help. "Good morning," the professor said. "Where's your pass?" Romano barked back. That was the moment everything changed. A simple morning commute turned into a standoff. If stories about holding people accountable matter to you, please hit that subscribe button right now. We are going to keep telling them. "I need to see proof of business," Romano said. He stood with his feet apart. He looked ready for a fight. Dr. Mitchell pointed to the plaque on the wall. It was right next to the door. "Officer, that is my name, Dr. H. Mitchell, department chair." Romano didn't even look at the sign. "That is circumstantial," he said. Anyone could point at a sign. I have my faculty key card, the professor said. He held it out. You can scan it. I'm not scanning anything, Romano said. It looks forged. The lamination is peeling. It's 3 years old, Mitchell explained. Please, I have a class in 10 minutes. I don't care about your class, Romano said. His voice got louder. You are trespassing in a secure area. Dr. Mitchell checked his watch. He was getting worried. His students would be there any second. I am going to open my door now, he said calmly. Romano dropped his hand to his belt. He rested his palm on his holster. It was a clear threat. Don't make me put you on the ground, Romano warned. Dr. Mitchell froze. He put his hands up slowly. He dropped his briefcase. The coffee spilled on the floor. I am cooperating, Mitchell said. His voice shook a little. Please don't hurt me. Romano stepped closer. He was in the professor's face now. He pushed Mitchell back against the wall. He used his chest to shove him. You listen to me, Romano hissed. You don't run things here, I do. Suddenly, voices came from down the hall. Students were rounding the corner for class. They saw their teacher against the wall. They saw the officer with his hand near his gun. Confusion turned to shock. Hey, one student yelled, what are you doing? Back off, Romano yelled at them. Police business. Do you think the officer was scared or just angry that he had an audience? Let me know what you think in the comments. But here is what Romano didn't count on. These weren't just random kids. These were graduate physics students. They were smart and they were loyal. That's Dr. Mitchell, a student named Sarah shouted. He runs this department. Romano ignored her. He kept Mitchell pinned against the wall. Stay back, he ordered. Sarah didn't stay back. She pulled out her phone. She hit record. Officer, why are you detaining him? She asked loudly. He is the department chair. A teaching assistant named David stepped up next. Check the website, David yelled. His picture is on the university homepage right now. Another professor stepped out of a nearby lab. He saw what was happening. He looked horrified. Jack, he said, that's Harold. What are you doing? Romano was losing control, but instead of apologizing, he doubled down. His ego wouldn't let him stop. He refused to identify himself, Romano lied. He is being disorderly. I showed you my ID, Mitchell cried out. It's right there on the floor. By now, there were 4 different phones recording. The students had formed a semicircle. They were documenting every word. Then something incredible happened. A student made a phone call, but she didn't call the dean. She called 911. I need to report an emergency on campus, she said clearly. There is an armed man threatening a professor. The armed man is a campus police officer. Romano heard this. His eyes went wide. He realized he was not the only authority in the room anymore. Put the phone away, Romano demanded. That is interference. It is my right, Sarah said. She didn't flinch. I am filming in a public hallway. 10 minutes later, the elevator doors opened. It wasn't just backup. It was the campus police sergeant, and right next to him was the dean of sciences. The dean looked furious. He saw his top physicist pinned against the wall. He saw the spilled coffee. He saw the terrified students. Officer Romano, the dean screamed. His voice echoed down the hall. Step away from him right now. Romano hesitated. He looked at the dean. He looked at the sergeant. He finally stepped back. Dr. Mitchell slumped against the wall. He was shaking. He tried to fix his jacket. Romano tried to save himself. Sir, this individual was refusing to. Shut your mouth, the sergeant said. Just shut your mouth. The students cheered, but the drama wasn't over yet. The consequences were just starting. Wait until you hear the excuse Romano tried to give next. The hallway turned into a makeshift courtroom. The sergeant walked straight up to Romano. Did you put hands on him? He asked. He was resisting, Romano said. He was aggressive. Sarah stepped forward with her phone. That is a lie, she said. She held the screen up to the sergeant. I have it all on video. Dr. Mitchell had his hands up the whole time. The sergeant watched the video. He saw the push. He saw the threat. He saw the ID card lying on the floor. He looked at Romano. He looked at the nameplate on the door that said Dr. Mitchell. It was literally 6 inches from Romano's head. You didn't know who he was? The sergeant asked. His name is right there. I was following protocol, Romano stammered. He looked suspicious. The dean stepped in. Suspicious? The dean asked. He has worked here for 20 years. He hired the security team that trained you. The decision was fast. It was decisive. Give me your badge, the sergeant said. He held out his hand. Sarge, come on, Romano said. Let's talk about this in the car. Badge, the sergeant repeated. And your gun, you are relieved of duty now. Romano slowly unclipped his badge. He handed over his sidearm. His face was red. He was humiliated. The students watched in silence. The cowboy was disarmed. Get him out of here, the dean said. 2 other officers escorted Romano to the elevator. He didn't look at anyone. He stared at his feet. The dean turned to Dr. Mitchell. Harold, I am so sorry, he said. Are you okay? Dr. Mitchell took a deep breath. He picked up his G. Lasses, I think so, he said, but my class. Cancel the class, the dean said. Go home, rest, we will handle this. The students gathered around their professor. They helped him pick up his papers. They handed him napkins for the coffee spill. It was a moment of kindness after so much aggression. But the story didn't end in the hallway. Sarah still had that video on her phone, and she was about to press upload. If you believe bad officers should lose their badges, hit subscribe. We need more accountability. By 10:00 a.m., Sarah's video was on TikTok. She captioned it, Professor profiled in his own building. By noon, the hashtag #FireRomano was trending in the entire city. By 5:00 p.m., the university president's inbox had crashed. There were thousands of emails demanding answers. The video was viewed 4.5 million times in just 24 hours. The comments section was on fire. Alumni threatened to stop donating money. Other faculty members started sharing their own stories. It turned out Dr. Mitchell wasn't the only one Romano had targeted. The next morning, the national news picked it up. CNN ran a segment called Professor Profiling. They interviewed Sarah and David. The university tried to do damage control. They issued a statement. It said, "We are investigating an incident involving personnel." It was too weak. It made people angrier. The police union tried to step in. They said Romano was following standard procedure regarding unverified visitors. That was a mistake. The internet tore that excuse apart. Unverified, one comment said. His name was on the door. Romano tried to defend himself on a private Facebook group. He said the video was edited. He said the students were lying, but screenshots of his post leaked. It just made him look worse. 3 days later, Dr. Mitchell made a move. He didn't go back to class immediately. Instead, he walked into a lawyer's office. He filed the paperwork that would shake the university to its core. Share this video if you think recording the police is important. Dr. Mitchell sued. His lawyers filed a lawsuit for racial discrimination, false imprisonment, and emotional distress. They didn't just sue the university, they sued the city and Romano personally. The discovery phase was brutal for the defense. Lawyers found Romano's emails. They were deleted, but the IT department recovered them. In one email to another officer, Romano joked about cleaning up the science wing. He used ugly language. It proved bias. The university knew they couldn't win. The video evidence was perfect. The email evidence was damning. They settled quickly. The amount might shock you. The settlement was for $2.7 million. It was one of the largest payouts in the university's history. But the money wasn't the only punishment. Jack Romano was fired. He didn't just lose his job at the university. His certification was revoked. That means he can never work as a police officer in the state again. He was banned from setting foot on campus. The university was forced to create a new oversight board. This board includes students and professors. They now have the power to review all police complaints. But here is the best part. Dr. Mitchell took a large chunk of that $2.7 million. He didn't buy a sports car. He didn't buy a mansion. He started a scholarship fund. It is called the Open Doors Grant. It pays full tuition for minority students in physics. Romano tried to close a door on him. Dr. Mitchell used the money to open doors for everyone else. Romano disappeared from public view. The last anyone heard, he was working for a trucking company in another state. But the check couldn't erase everything. Dr. Mitchell still walks down that hallway every day. He still sees the spot where he was pushed against the wall. Wait until you hear what he said to the press. It will stick with you. Dr. Mitchell held a press conference outside the courthouse. He stood next to his wife and his students. He looked tired but strong. He stepped to the microphone. "I have spent my life studying the laws of physics," he said. "Gravity does not care who you are. Energy does not care about the color of your skin. Those laws are fair." He paused. He looked at the cameras. "But the laws of men are not always fair. I have a PhD. I have tenure. I was wearing a suit. And none of that saved me. If I can be treated like a criminal in my own office, what happens to my students?" He spoke directly to the workers and students watching. "You do not have to prove your humanity to anyone. You belong here. Do not let anyone make you feel small." He thanked the students who filmed him. "Those cameras saved me," he said. "Without that video, it would have been my word against his, and we know who usually wins that contest." He ended with a powerful thought. "I teach my students to question everything. That is what science is. We must also question the systems that allow this to happen. We must demand better data. Oh, and better justice." It was a classy response to an ugly event. This was not an isolated incident. Statistics show that black faculty members are 3 times more likely to be stopped by campus security than their white colleagues. This case was different because of 2 things: undeniable status and clear video. Riverside University now requires community policing certification. They changed the rules, but many other schools have not. The fight isn't over. So let me ask you, do you think the officer would have stopped a white professor? Do you think the outcome would be different without the students' cameras? Do we need armed police patrolling science labs? Because if a department chair isn't safe, no student is safe. If we don't fix the culture of policing, we are just waiting for the next Jack Romano, the next Dr. Mitchell, the next ruined career. Comment justice below if you believe the $2.7 million was enough punishment. If you think stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these stories. We're going to keep demanding better. This isn't just about one bad cop or one professor. It's about all of us. See you in the next one.